What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 31st of May today. The very end of the month is today. Here we are right now at about $103,500. 21 hours, 24 minutes left in the day here. Moving down, and I've got some thoughts as to what's going to happen over the next week, and we'll see if it comes true. We'll see. You know, it's a theory at this point in time, but we'll divulge and see if we can piece this all together. I kind of have a suspicion that right now, I mean, if you see it, if you've been doing technical analysis for even like a couple of years, you're probably already aware of what's forming here is a head and shoulders pattern, right? You got the left shoulder here, you've got the head, and then we're probably going to form the right shoulder here, right? So to form the right shoulder, essentially what you would need to do is you would need to find support down in this area, whether it's at this low or that low there, and then you would have to bounce from there and come back up and find resistance around this area. Now, the more precise, the better, but close enough is close enough, right? So you'd see something like this. You went up, you came down, and then you went up. Here you go down, you come up, and then you go down. It's a head and shoulders pattern, right? That's what they're called. If we look at this head and shoulders on thepatternSite.com here, mind your retinas. It's very, very bright. That's what it looks like, head and shoulders. Exactly like what we have set up here, just without the right shoulder. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. This took about 10 days to form. It wouldn't surprise me if over the next week, including this weekend, so by the end of next week, we were just moving sideways, something like this, and we had a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, right? A little upside down Mickey Mouse action there. And everybody's going to call for the price to go bearish, right? Let's pretend that this is a head and shoulders pattern, just real quick, just thinking ahead, thinking about what everybody else is going to see a week ahead of time. High to low. If we were to break out, it'd probably be down here, the neckline. Maybe it's exactly at this low. Maybe it's not. We don't have it formed yet, so we don't know. But I'm going to just say something in this area. It's got to be somewhat precise. That measure move would take us all the way down to $92,000, just below $92,000 even, right? I don't anticipate that we go to $92,000. In fact, I don't even expect that we'll ever break below 100K again. But from a low to a high here, you know, if we were to do that, that'd take us all the way down to our 0.5. And Bitcoin has found a lot of support and resistance. Respect is what it's found around its 0.5. So I guess there's sense to be made out of that. I just don't think that we're going to drop that low, but it could happen. You never know. Wouldn't it make sense too, in this essence of the fib here, to find support right at the 236 here? And that would be perfect for a head and shoulders pattern right there as well. So finding support at the 236. First off, finding support at the 236, you guys, very bullish thing to do. It's a very bullish thing to do. Depending on how we consolidate around here, I'll tell you if it gets bearish. If we see a wick that's like this far below it, okay, we can get away with that. But if we close below the 236, if we get a wick that's a little bit further than that, I think we're in trouble, right? So, but finding support at the 236, we didn't find support at it here. We didn't have the high until here. So this would be the first interaction with the 236 we've had since it's been formed. Finding support at the 236 is actually the most bullish thing you could do. Finding resistance at it, if it was from the upside or from the downside coming up, that'd be the most bearish thing you could do, right? This is very, very bullish situations that you get set up for. I'll prove it to you, right? Look at this. From a low down here all the way to this high right here, where did we find support? We grinded out the 236 right there. And what did we have? We had a bullish reaction, a very bullish reaction because of it, right? Head and shoulders patterns in this kind of notion of talking about. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I thought that this would be something I'd say for the end of the video, but I'm getting into it right now. Head and shoulders patterns typically have volume that dies off, right? What you see in a head and shoulders pattern is as I hate these damn middle buttons right here. These are just so annoying, man. I want to get rid of them. They're just so pointless. They really are. Anyways, like I really think they are. Does anybody use these? I want to know, man. Anyways, maybe there's a point and I just haven't used them yet. I haven't unlocked my full potential with TradingView. Anyways, volume on a head and shoulders pattern typically decreases as the pattern develops. The fact that the head has more volume than the left shoulder already, to me, it kind of discounts the idea that this head and shoulders will come to light, right? Maybe it looks like one, but we'll still break out to the upside. There's still a percentage chance that we do break out to the upside. If you want, you can read about the head and shoulders pattern. Go to thepatternSite.com. Here, we'll just do this real quick. ThepatternSite.com, you can type that in. You go to chart patterns. You scroll down and you find head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulders tops. Head and shoulders bottoms are just inverse head and shoulders. He didn't care to call it that, though. He's an old school guy. Head and shoulders tops. And you can read all about it right here. You can read about the measure rule, the price reversal, confirmation trends, velocity, yearly high, pullbacks, whatever, all that stuff. Sure, you can read all you want about that, right? You can read about confirmation, shape, all this stuff if you want to. Let's see. BTC. Typically, though, with volume, and you'll probably find that in there, typically you do expect the volume to decrease. What you might not find in here is that whenever you get volume, whenever you have head and shoulders patterns that don't break out bearishly, this is a bearish pattern. This is a bearish setup. It's not there yet. We still have the right shoulder complete. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Nobody knows. But if it happens, typically you'd expect it to break out to the downside, okay? They do break out to the upside sometimes. Sometimes you do have bearish patterns that get busted and they break out to the upside still. I've seen it happen plenty of times. And typically for head and shoulders specifically, that happens when the volume's a little wonky. And this is wonky for a head and shoulders pattern. It's not decreasing as it's going on. It's like it increased and now it's decreasing. That's not typical. Just because it's not typical doesn't mean that we can't go down. We absolutely could go down, but it might hurt performance maybe, or maybe it does imply that we are going to break out to the upside one way or another. Let's move on. I just wanted to address that because I have a feeling, maybe not today, but maybe over the next couple of days, I would assume this next week, if not by the end of this week itself, this week ends in the next day and 22 hours. Between now and the next 9 days, I suspect every big YouTuber out there is going to be talking about the head and shoulders pattern. They're going to be scaring people, preparing you for $92,000 price or lower, all that whole shebang. You're already going to be prepared for it. You've already seen it. You've already heard about it, and you know that it's probably going to break out to the upside. We're not at least at this point in time. I'm anticipating a bearish formation of this head and shoulders pattern, but I'm not expecting it to break out to the downside. That's my personal, let's say, bias. Okay, low to high, I really do think we hold that 236 as support, but we'll know ahead of time. There'll be signals ahead of time. Let's get into the short term stuff and see if the short term agrees with the idea of going down, to say the least. Right? Are we going down to form this pattern? Well, the 1 hour RSI sucks, but we do have some higher lows here. That's kind of nice. You have one higher low, 2, 3 higher lows. You have a low here, one lower low. That was not a lower low there, was it? So this low here, but still low here, lower low there, higher low there. So that is bullish divergence. You got, maybe it's not triple bullish divergence, but it is some form of bullish divergence there. And then here you're moving down with volume, but you're losing volume here. You're moving down now. You've got more volume coming in on a 1 hour basis. That's your highest volume spike, but you move down less overall, and you're having a harder time moving down. You see that? So this was pushed down, maybe to stop, to get some longs stopped out, maybe to make some people go short. Who knows what the reason is, but you got pushed down here, but there's no follow through. It's the weekend now. Maybe that's why there won't be any follow through. But 1 hour time frame it's got some bullish divergence. So I guess we will pump from here, move up a little bit. I still suspect we'll be in this downtrend in the price. So I wouldn't expect that we go anything above $106,000. I don't expect we'll get above 106. I do expect that we'll go somewhere around 105, if not a little bit between there and 106, and then likely sometime later today start to come down, right? Today's Saturday, the 31st of May. Later today, before the end of the day, I think that we will close the day red, but we'll start off the day green. That's kind of what I'm rolling with right now on the 1 hour time frame. Why am I thinking that it'll roll over red? Well, just looking at the trend, looking where we are. We do have bullish divergence, but the RSI still sucks. I'm not convinced that we're going to come up here, right? We had bullish divergence all the way through here, and we did nothing with it. So we're in some pretty bearish times, and it's the weekend. So yes, I think that we're going to move up now in respect to that bullish divergence, but it's the 1 hour time frame, so you can make that move up and then still move down all within the same day. And that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen, mainly because of the trend, right? Mainly because of the trend. That just it fits in line with the trend pretty well. Going to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour RSI, 1 hour and 15 minutes left, is dipping into the oversold zone right now. Maybe we don't pump up, man. Maybe we just keep dropping. Who knows? But the 4 hour looks bad. In fact, if I actually, with what I said on the 1 hour still being true, maybe if this 1 hour closes red, if we close this 1 hour, so this 1 hour time frame here, it's the second hour of the 31st. You can see right down here, it tells you what hour it is down here. You see it says 02:00. It's the second hour, right? If this closes red, then this whole idea of moving up from here, it's out the window. We're not moving up. We're still moving down, because the 4 hour is suggestive of us just starting this move down, and we're probably going to see the full force of it happening like right now. So maybe we move up a little bit, and then we still move down, whatever. Maybe we get a little pop here, and then we still move down, whatever. But getting into the oversold zone, if in the next 1 hour and 14 minutes, if this 4 hour candle, the first 4 hour of this day, closes red, I would expect this day to be a pretty significant day to the downside. And I say significant, it's not going to be too significant, like $101,500. 101.4, 101.7, something in that area, right? Nothing too crazy from where we are now, but we'll drop about a couple $1,000. 4 hour agrees, 1 hour agrees. It would make sense. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but are you guys aware of what's happening here, right? This is the biggest drop from a high to a low that we've experienced since April. Since the 7th of April, since that last drop that we had. This is the biggest drop that we've seen, you guys. We haven't seen a drop this big this whole time, right? And it's only going to get bigger. Might it make sense then, if it's the biggest drop we've seen in a month, that we find support at the very first area to find support? It might make sense. I mean, hell, we found support at the resistance line over here. We're probably going to find support at this support line as well, which also coincides exactly with the 236 here. You see that red line? It coincides perfect. Come on now, man. Come on. Come. Okay, there we go. Right there. I don't know why it does this dancing stuff. This magnet needs to be better. Or maybe my hands are shaky. Maybe it's me. I have a tendency to blame technology whenever, if I really just reflect, it's me. But all of this support in the price and at the 236 and at prior price, it just makes sense that we'd find support there, at least in my opinion. And if we find support there, what's going to happen is we're going to go down. We find support. We're set up for a head and shoulders pattern. And I think everybody's going to talk about that. But again, we're going to have, I think we'll have a different, it'll look like a head and shoulders for a time. And then slowly but surely it'll start to show its true colors. And I think it'll be a bullish breakout one way or another. But I don't really know what else to say here, guys. Weekly time frame on this, 1 day, 22 hours left. What really sucks is that we got overbought and now we're not in the same week. So what we need to do now, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, it's not typical. This is not typical behavior. Rejecting the overbought zone and finding support here, that's not typical behavior. That was nice. That was good. Let's see what we did with that with Bitcoin here. We had to move up, right? We rejected, but see, even on this rejection, we consolidated for 2 weeks before moving up higher. And then we consolidated for like a month and a half before moving up higher, really is what happened. So that rejection there was not ideal, even though you didn't go as low as you normally do. Normally when you reject the overbought zone, you go to the 50, if not lower. But even there in that more bullish situation, you still consolidated for like 6 weeks before you moved up. That's not ideal, right? You reject the overbought zone here, that wasn't good. If you reject the overbought, anytime you reject the overbought zone, it's not good. So with this week, in the next day and 22 hours, unless we can flip it green, we can move up 5% over the weekend. And the whole thesis of the head and shoulders pattern is just out the window. Unless we can do that over the next day in 21.2 hours, or 21 point, would it be 0.3 hours? 21 hours, 13 minutes. It'd be less than 0.3. Anyways, if we can move up by the end of the weekend, then we absolve ourselves of rejecting the overbought zone. But if we do close here or lower, which I think we will, we're gonna reject the overbought zone, and typically you find support at the 50. A move down like that, I mean, that would imply then that next week closes red as well, is what that would imply. It would imply maybe even next week and the week after. Who knows? Which is not a good thing. Or maybe, and that's just speaking from things that are typical, maybe we do something that's less typical. Maybe we do find support at the 60 and we're in a more bullish situation than it seems. And that would be really nice, but we'll be looking for that. I'm just saying I'm not happy about this week, and this definitely does imply that there are lower prices to come. How low are those prices going to be? The lowest price that I could imagine, I guess, would be $92,000 in respect to that measure move of the alleged head and shoulders pattern. But really, I really do think that we'll find support at 101, 101.7, 101.5, whatever, somewhere in that zone around $101,000 to $102,000. And if not there, 95, I think 95 to 96K would hold as support. But yes, at the absolute lowest, maybe 91.3K, right there at the 0.5. Bitcoin, after all, if we look at this, we'll end the video on this note, okay, just so you can get familiar with Bitcoin here. From a low to a high, it bounced right off its 0.5. Very first move of the cycle, pulled back, bounced right off the 0.5. Bounced off of it and then rallied, right? Actually bounced off the 0.5 after rejecting your overbought zone too, right? Very similar. Low to high here, where did you bounce? Where did you bounce? You bounced right off of your 0.5. Not once, but twice. You bounced right off the 0.5 right there. If we take a high here, we take a high to a low. It's not just the lows to highs, it's the highs to lows too. Look, you found resistance at your 0.5 right there. Bitcoin's been finding significance on its 0.5 every damn step of the way. You take a low to high, you'd be surprised to find that this time you did not find support at the 0.5. You found it at the golden ratio, but the time before you found support at the 0.5. The time after you did find support at the 0.5 as well. right? Bitcoin has been finding support at the 0.5 its whole damn life this cycle. Low to high, look at, you did it again almost. And we really thought, and I think everybody's starting to catch on to it right there. That's what they call front running. But you almost got there, man. You almost, you were gonna do it. You were about to do it, but you didn't do it. Maybe if we take it from the high, it's closer, but still. But the 0.5 area seems to be an area that finds support. So with that in mind, the absolute lowest I could imagine us going to, and I don't imagine us going down here, but the absolute lowest I can imagine us going to is about $91.3 thousand. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And then after that, we will still move up. That's still going to happen. But I got nothing else for you guys. In case it's not clear as to what I'm expecting here, what I am expecting is that Bitcoin will move down a little bit more, a couple $1,000s, maybe around there. You'll consolidate for about a week, and then we're going to move up. That's what I'm expecting, okay? Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Time will tell. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.